Trained by day, Kyle Wigginton podcast by night, all day.
Oliver Kodner. What's up, man?
How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. So what's the name? The name of the company is obviously Brewstock.
Yeah.
Homebrew Supplies.
Brewstock Homebrew Supplies.
How did you, what made you want to go into this? Because I mean, I have my own little story.
Yeah, I mean, I was brewing in college at Loyola, and we were just brewing in a dorm room. And then, you know, this was like 2013, probably, right when craft beer was like really kind of getting going. We were really, you know, college kids. We were super into craft beer, and started brewing, started part-timing at Brewstock, just like part-time working for Kyle when he owned it. And then Kyle was moving out of town, and he was like, I got to get out of here. So I kind of wanted a homebrew shop. So decided to invest in it and take it over.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was in December of 18.
Okay. So it's not kind of recent. Like time doesn't work in my brain anymore.
Yeah, I know. Since COVID, time is weird. People still, sometimes people are like, are you the new owner? It's like, I've been here 5 years now.
Yeah. Whenever I started watching these videos online of people brewing mead.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really want to try this. So I went and bought one of the kits, and I bought them from the guy I was watching. And then I started looking around for like yeast and stuff, and I Googled, and you were the top search, and I was like, let me go check this place out.
Yeah.
Walked in there and started chatting with you about it, and it was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. We got a lot of wine yeast. So it's also funny too. People still come in and they're like, how long have you guys been in New Orleans? It's like, well, January 12th was our 15th anniversary. Brewstock's been around for 15 years now.
Damn. You guys have everything you need too.
Yeah, we've got everything you need, especially if you want to make mead. Like it's such an introductory, easy, like it's so easy to get into, and it's like the equipment's not that expensive. And then like actually making it is also like your first time making mead is going to be so easy. You're gonna be like, did I miss a step? Am I doing something? Am I doing something too simple? Like, no, mead is like so simple to do. It's so easy and it's so fun to do. And you can make a really great product too, like on your first try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have some here. I didn't want to pull it out, 'cause I didn't want you to like, you know, just slander my, my mead that I made. But, my first one was the apple cinnamon mead.
Oh yeah.
And it was super easy to make. Like you said, there's no heat. You don't have to apply any heat. Yeah. That's why it makes it so easy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no cooking process. It's like, it's just mixing and putting ingredients together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like I was, like Walter White when I was mixing my chemicals up.
I mean, like with Walter White, he's going to be like, no, mead has to be this. We're making a pure product. It's like, no, I try and tell people all the time too, like, don't let anybody tell you what mead is and what mead isn't. Like if you want to make apple cinnamon mead, like great. But I see a lot of people who are like, mead is 18% Viking's blood. It's like, okay, enjoy your, whatever you're doing. Like,
right.
That's fine. But like, if you want to put in like half cider, half meat or half honey, like, yeah, you can do that. If you want to make like put herbs and spices in there, if you want to put some like Earl Grey tea, if you want to ferment it with like, I don't know, if you want to ferment it like in a rotting tree hole or in a pothole outside, like that's your thing, right? It's your homebrew.
That's disgusting.
For the mead is like whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
That's kind of my philosophy on it. It's like, I'll give you all the tools and like give you all the foundation on what you need to do. But then how you experiment at home is like, that's the absolute essence of homebrewing.
Yeah. Even the recipe you gave me, like I used your recipe for the second batch that I made. The second batch that I made is blackberry sage. Yeah. And that might be pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you say recipe, it's like, it's just a structure.
Yeah. It's a structure with it. And you just add in whatever ingredients you want on top of that. So I haven't figured out, cause I'm still, you know, it takes a while to make the mead.
Yeah.
Is after the initial brew, after you get like the apples and cider and stuff in, after the fermentation happens and it turns into alcohol, is there a flavor there, a different flavor, or is it just like alcohol?
Yeah, there are some different flavors there. Okay. There's a couple things that happen too. And something I talk about a lot is the difference between sugar depletion and fermentation. So there's a lot of compounds within your mead and within your must or your wort for beer, you know, whatever you're making. There's a lot of compounds in there besides sugar. The yeast will eat the sugar first. It will eat oxygen also. But when it's done with that, it'll start moving around and trying to find other things to eat. There's like aldehydes and all sorts of weird off flavors that we can classify. I mean, that's like getting real deep though. Yeah. Like that's getting so deep and things that I don't understand and that we can't measure as home brewers. Right. Even like commercial breweries and stuff like that. We can't really measure those things. if you get a good enough sensory palate, you can taste those things. But letting your mead sit longer, the yeast will then scavenge and kind of clean up a lot of those potential off flavors if you don't like them. So that's kind of part of it, or it's like, yeah, the first sugar depletion, like once it's done, the flavor will then change because the yeast will clean up certain things and change things over time. But if you like those flavors too, like once it's done fermenting, like go for it. That's
a good point, actually. Like, there's a palate out there. Everyone has different palates. Everyone's going to like something a little different.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing. Like, I'm more of a beer guy. And like, when you think about Hefeweizen, like everyone online is like, oh, drink Hefeweizen really young and really green. Well, that's probably because you're not giving the yeast a full chance to like clean up all the potential off flavors. But those off flavors we deem as like, we like those flavors, like you get all that big banana flavor, like maybe that would settle out over time.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like when you enter the potassium sorbate into the mix, does that like stop the entire process?
Yeah, pretty much. The sorbate, as far as I understand, it will like coat the yeast cells so that they can't replicate any further. And if they can't replicate, then they're not really doing a whole lot.
See, that step confused me a little bit because I was like, they want you to put the Camden tablets in there after. And I thought the Camden tablets like killed everything. Yeah,
they can. Yeast can survive a little Camden tablets. What Camden is, it's metabisulfate. So when it dissolves into the liquid, it releases SO2, sulfur dioxide. And that sulfur dioxide is really good at sanitizing and kind of killing off some shit that you don't want.
Yeah, I didn't add that into my mix this time. I froze the fruits because I thought that it might be like, is that not change the flavor at all?
It can a little bit. It can, not too much. Yeah, I mean, if you froze them for like a really long time, you'd probably start to notice some like freezer burn intake or something.
Yeah, I froze them for like 24 hours just to kill the bacteria or something.
That's nothing. As far as I understand too, like freezer burn, that flavor is like oxidizing because like your freezer takes in and blows a bunch of air on it.
Right.
And the more oxygen that it blows on your fruit, the more they degrade and you kind of lose those flavors.
Well, it's a cool process. Whatever is going on in there. I get up every morning and I go and look at my my big jar and I'm like, oh, look at the bubbles.
Yeah.
Look at the bubbles. And then I have like 10 or 15 like small jars of like other batches that I made, like small batches.
Yeah.
That I'm just kind of like playing with the flavors and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I've made watermelon mead, like mixed berry meads, like tons of different kinds. So I'm having fun with the process.
Oh yeah. And it's totally experimental. It's just like, people are like, well, what's the best fruit? What's the best breakfast cereal? Like, what are you in the mood for?
Yeah. It's basically sugar, right? Sugar content.
Yeah. It's different sugar contents. There also is like different, there's a lot of different flavor profiles with different fruits and stuff like that. Something we're learning in today's world is about volatile aromatics.
What is that?
Sometimes like it's a lot of it is the research being done is about hops and like thiol, bioengineered yeast, like genetically modified yeast. We're finding that hops and stuff like that have these oil contents and they have these volatile compounds in them. And volatile meaning that they can easily get blown out by CO2, by fermentation, by rousing, by a lot of different factors. But sometimes we want those. Sometimes those are like so valuable. They like make or break what flavor you're going for. One like feature that I have not seen is like how much research is being done into the volatiles of different fruits. And I imagine like the volatile aromatics of mangoes is completely different than the volatiles of like strawberries.
I love mangoes.
Like you're probably going to get a lot more residual mango out of your mead than you would strawberries because strawberries are just so delicate compared to like tropical fruits.
Yeah. So it's probably like depends on where they're grown and stuff, right?
Yeah. It has to probably all do with like region, what type of fruit, like stone fruits, berries,
different types of bacteria that's in the ground, like all that good stuff.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff will probably. I mean, I'm saying this, but I don't actually know the answer.
I don't need it. I don't know anything really. I just get on here and like talk, and we'll see what happens. It's kind of like meat. You throw shit in the pot, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, see what happens with it. I mean, different fruits and stuff like that. The predominant what you're going to get out of it is whatever the yeast wants to do to it, and then like how much CO2 gets blown off and stuff like that. I mean, that's like a whole other topic too about like if you were to like go and carbonate your mead, like if you used fruit juice as your sugar to carbonate, what you would then get is because those sugars would ferment in the bottle and that CO2 would then get trapped in the bottle. you'll retain much more of those volatile aromatics than you would if they were fermented and just blown out the airlock. It would be a completely different flavor profile.
Interesting. I wonder if we can test that.
Oh yeah, you could absolutely
like just seal the jar or something.
Yeah, I mean, like if you made a mead, what you could do is like, let's say you made like a raspberry mead, or is that what you said?
Blackberry.
Blackberry, yeah. Let's say you made a blackberry mead. Take half of it and bottle condition it with the right amount of blackberry juice, and cap it like, flip top sealed bottles, and then the other half just bottle it in wine bottles still. So you have a still wine and a carbonated wine. Willing to bet that the carbonated wine is going to retain a lot more of that blackberry flavor because of the fermentation. It created its own special CO2 from that fruit, and it got trapped in the bottle and stayed with it.
Interesting. Yeah, there was a guy one time, sommelier. We were talking about wine and how wine cures and stuff in the bottles, and he said that when he buys wine, he buys a case at a time. But because he says at a certain point in the wine's life, it will go bad.
Oh yeah.
But then he said it actually comes back around.
Yeah, a lot of bottle conditioned stuff, or things that have been sitting in the bottle forever, with the exclusion of most liquor. Like wine and beer sitting in the bottle will change. And if it is bottle conditioned too, and there's live active yeast or active bacteria in the bottle, it will absolutely go through phases. Like the big example with beer is Brett. Like Brett is its own type of organism that is really hard to kill and really hard to mess around with. But Brett will eat everything that it can, and then it'll start to eat on the dead cells too. Like when its own cells die, it'll just remetabolize itself. So if you get a bottle of Brett beer, you just kind of need to know like when to catch it.
Yeah.
Could be great, could be terrible. Like
that was kind of his take with the wine too. Yeah, he's saying the same thing. So mead is strictly honey, right?
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, like what a mead is honey, water, yeast.
So what if I use like agave or something like that in there? Yeah,
now you're getting into, it's so funny with mead because like if you add fruit, it turns into like melomel. If you do like a session strength mead, it's a hydromel because you added more water than you needed to. Like if you caramelize some of the honey, it turns into bochet.
So those are just different types of like meads.
They give them different names.
Different names, yeah.
They give them weird different names. Like if you add, I'm pretty certain there's a word for like maple syrup wine.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember the name of it.
Well, I bought 5 pounds of agave to use. Yeah. So I'm gonna try that too in my next batch.
I'm sure there's a word for, or somebody has come up with a word for it, of like if you mix or like beer and mead together as a braggot.
Oh my gosh, dude. There's all kind of stuff then, huh?
There's all kind of like, I'm sure that if you mixed agave in there, somebody's got a word for it.
Yeah. What if you just use like regular sugar and water? Same thing?
Regular sugar, water. I think you're like in seltzer territory. I think you're like in hard seltzer world.
So it's a very fun little hobby to have.
Oh yeah.
So do you brew your own?
Yeah, I brew beer at home. I'll brew a wine like once a year.
Yeah. So mead is a wine?
Yeah, for what most people do, mead is a wine.
Okay, someone was asking me that through the night, and I was like, I don't fucking know.
I mean, you can, if you ferment mead with an ale yeast, it doesn't exactly make it ale. It's not an ale, but it has ale yeast. It's still a mead, and it's not really a wine. The way, I don't know, like the way people make mead most of the time is with a white wine yeast. Yeah, most of the time people want white wine style beverage. Yeah, the one that I'm making right now with the blackberry, I believe I use red wine yeast in that one. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, because you're using blackberry. Yeah, using blackberry. I don't know. I thought, maybe this might work. Yeah, I mean, the story I also tell a lot in the shop is one time somebody came in and said, "Hey, I made some carrot wine. Do you want to taste it?" And I was like, "Abso-fucking-lutely, yeah, yes. What does carrot wine taste like?" And I tried it and I go, "Oh, this really tastes like white wine." I said, "What did you use on this?" He goes, "Oh, I fermented it with the Côte de Blanc, the white Chardonnay." I was like, "Okay, yeah, makes sense." And it worked? Oh yeah, I mean, it tastes like Chardonnay, but using fruits with it too, though. That's interesting, like sweet fruits. I guess that sweet vegetables. I mean, yeah. I have another old guy, and I don't know how to help him. What's he getting into? He calls me all the time and he's like, "I have all these green tomatoes and he's like, "Do you think that would make good wine?" And I'm like, "Dude, you are in uncharted territory. I don't know what to say right now." You're like, "Yes. Yeah, try it out. Give it a shot, man. Like what's going to hurt?" And then the other day too, he was like, "So do you think I should add radishes to my green tomatoes?" Wow. I was like, I don't know, man.
What would be a good vegetable to use? I might want to try that next too.
Sweet potatoes?
Yeah, sweet potatoes. Any sugary vegetables, right?
Yeah, anything with like a high sugar content is what you really want.
Sweet potato mead. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That sounds
like
delicious.
Cool fall flavor.
Yeah.
You know, sweet potatoes, cinnamon.
I'm into that. You already sold me on it.
Yeah. Even if you get your hands on, you know, it's like a nice fall flavor, surprisingly. Such a summer tree. Magnolia.
Magnolia?
Yeah.
What is that?
Like a magnolia tree.
Like a flower?
Yeah, like the flower petals.
Interesting. You so flower petals in mead.
Yeah, why not?
I guess they do use, I've seen a couple of the recipes where they're using like all kinds of flowers they find out in the wild.
I mean, you could use like hibiscus, rosemary.
But would you have to like sanitize those first or something?
Yeah, you could. I mean, with enough acidity and alcohol content, the yeast should take over and dominate any kind of bad bacteria.
That'd be fun to go foraging for some some flowers and stuff.
I mean, that's the other thing you'll get into. There's a company called Bootleg Biology that does backyard wrangling kits.
Mm-hmm.
And you just go out and swab like different types of plants and flowers and stuff like that and put it in a collection jar and send it back to them. And they'll prop it up for you and send you back a viable yeast sample to use.
What's it called again?
Bootleg Biology.
Okay, I got this weird idea. I'll tell you about it off camera. I don't want to talk about it on camera, but it's this really, really weird idea that I tell people at the bar all the time. And there's actually a guy who's like, if you can figure out how to do this, I'll put money to back it.
Damn.
So it's a pretty crazy idea, but it has a very niche market.
Yeah.
Yeah. You may never talk to me again after I tell you the idea. That's why I'm going to say it off camera.
Yeah.
But I need these guys like that to like help with that idea. I didn't know there was a place that could do that. Like I'm guessing they pull the yeast and stuff off of those too.
I mean, you pull the yeast, like you do it.
Yeah, you do the swab and then send it off to them. They cultivate it into
you like put it in a mason jar with a thing on it and you put it, they give you like petri dishes and whatnot.
Perfect, dude. That's what I needed. That's all I needed from you. Get out of here. Go. No, I'm just kidding.
This has been fun.
Yeah, he's
wrap
done.
This up.
Got what I needed. I'm out. So like what, now all yeast and business aside.
Yeah.
Like, do you get into anything else? Like locally, do you like politics, anything like that?
I hate politics. I hate all politicians.
What about like geo? I hate politicians too. I saw you pulled up today on the bicycle, which I think is very smart in this city because the fucking potholes that are everywhere.
Oh yeah. The guy was looking at me funny while I was biking over because I was swerving in a pothole and he was upset that I was in his lane. I'm like, okay, like you can wait literally 1 second while I not kill myself.
Yeah, dude, the potholes are getting fucking insane.
Yeah.
What gets me, like, so I get if there's a pothole on a back road.
Yeah.
Like, someone might have missed that one. But if they're main streets that we drive every single day, that's where it gets insane.
I heard something online, too, about, like, there's a number of, like, big main streets in New Orleans that are not owned by the city. It's owned by the state.
Interesting.
And the state doesn't give a shit about New Orleans.
How does that even work? Like, why? How's this a street in the city owned by the state?
If it, like, connects outside of the parish.
So, like, I guess, like, the interstates, right?
Yeah, the interstates, I've heard like Tulane Avenue is not owned by the city. I've heard it's owned by the state of Louisiana.
That's so weird, man. Like I think that's one reason we have issues with politicians is that everything's so like convoluted. Like nothing is like straight line. Like here, there's a pothole in the road. Let's go fix it. It's like, no, there's a pothole in the road. Let's fill this paperwork out. Yeah. Send it away to this person. Let it go to this person, this person.
Oh yeah. It's just all government. I don't know. I don't know how deep you want to get into politics talk, but like,
dude, I just love talking about shit.
They're all just trying to line their pockets, aren't they?
They are. It's trying to fatten them pockets, dude.
But it's supposed to be a government for the people by the people. It's a government for the corporations by the professional politicians. It's not we're not living in such a utopia right now.
Oh, dude, my first dose of like what politics was, you know, Boy State. Are you familiar with that? So it's like, I guess every state has it, but they take like the top 4 people from each high school in the state when they're like seniors and they send them to like this. They sent us to University of Central Arkansas. It's a big campus there in Arkansas. And you basically run through a governmental simulation and they're trying to find the people that they can put into political spots. And I guess they take people from that and then groom them. Yeah. They groom them for politics. That's what they do. Yeah. It's insane. Like, I'm glad I got to be a part of it just so I could like see how crazy it all is.
But they didn't get you.
No, dude, I saw right through it. I was like, let me just go for the sports, the intramurals. We play basketball over there too. Yeah. Let me go for the sports. But I mean, it was cool to be a part of that, to see kind of the behind the scenes crap.
Yeah. No, outside of Brewstock, we just, we'll go to some bars here and there and we just like to go out and try a bunch of different foods. We eat a lot of ethnic food these days.
Like what?
Can I shout out people on here?
Yeah, go for it. Dude.
We are so high on Plume in Algiers, Indian restaurant.
Yeah, I love Indian food.
Oh my God.
Is it that good?
It's stupid.
I got to go to it.
It's fucking stupid. It's every time we were just so happy in that spot. It's in Algiers. It's down on Tesh Street. It's like kind of near SPCA down there.
Okay. I got to go there for sure.
It's like their house.
Really?
They like live in the other side, the back of it. Yeah.
Dude, we have an empty spot right over here, just next to the bar.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to get Plume over here.
Yeah. Get Plume in here. They're great.
We need an Indian restaurant. There's nothing like that around here. Well, I guess there is on Magazine, but
yeah, on Magazine there's some.
Yeah.
Plume is cool because they do like it's not just Indian cuisine. It's like it is Indian cuisine, but it's also regional cuisine around that area. Like they'll do Afghan dishes, they'll do like Bengali dishes, they'll do dishes from all the like Bangladesh and stuff like that. I don't know if Bengali and Bangladesh are the same, but
dude, I don't know. I just know that whenever they put Indian food in front of me, it's gone instantly.
Yeah. Their food is fantastic, and it's like they prepare it and it looks amazing and it tastes amazing and everything about it is it's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I need a good Indian place to go to. I hit these places on Magazine Street up, but they're always fucking packed.
That's the thing. Magazine's always super crowded.
Yeah.
And
I eat on Ferret Street way too much just because I'm here all the time.
Yeah. My other issue lately is my girlfriend, when probably like 2 years ago now, her body just said, fuck you. And she can't have gluten anymore. She just gets destroyed by gluten. So we used to go out and like order, like 2 appetizers, 2 entrees and a dessert and just split everything. Can't do that anymore. Not as much. But
she has to order everything like separately, right? Gluten-free stuff.
Yeah, she's got to ask. She's got to ask about everything.
Yeah.
She's got to make sure.
There's a lot of people that are gluten intolerant these days. What do you think that's about?
I don't know. Something in the water.
Yeah. I mean, does that affects like beer and stuff too, right?
Oh yeah. Beer is totally gluten.
Yeah.
Pretty much all beer is totally gluten. Barley and wheat are super glutinous.
But she can do the mead, right?
Yeah. Cause mead is gluten free. There should be no gluten in there.
There you go. If you need some mead.
Yeah. Yeah, she's funny because she's also like pretty much off alcohol too.
I don't blame her. I've actually been getting off alcohol too, which is weird that I'm actually brewing mead now.
Yeah,
because I don't drink alcohol anymore. I've been drinking a lot of THC seltzers.
We've been doing that a lot too. Now I'm doing even got the medical card for it too.
They have one of those here.
Yeah, somebody told me about it. You can get a medical card for I don't want to say it's a joke, but because like you can get it, it's serious. But like, no, it's a fucking joke. Like you sign up, you tell them what's wrong, you do it online.
The process is a joke.
Yeah, the process is like the process takes 5 minutes on the website to like fill out a thing and do it. And then they'll be like, okay, a doctor's going to call you in 30 minutes. Sure enough, doctor calls me. Took like 60 seconds on the phone.
He knows.
He's like going through your thing. He's like, okay, it looks like you got this. You're trying to do this. I'm like, yeah, we want to get away from the over the counter stuff because it's just inconsistent. Like he's like, all right, perfect. Got your dispensary down there. You're good.
There is a dispensary here.
It's on Chop. Yeah.
Okay.
It's on Chop Tools.
Yeah. See, I didn't know any of this stuff.
Yeah.
I heard someone mention it before, but I didn't realize they were already this far away along with it.
It's weird. You have to have a card, and the process is also really weird ordering. You order online, but when you order online, you don't pay for anything. You just like reserve it and it sends the prescription to your dispensary. You go and then you have to pay cash while you're there.
Okay.
And then they put it in like a white bag and staple the prescription to it. Like you're getting a prescription, like a pharmacy. And everyone's like behind glass and there's security guards in there.
And it's a cash only business.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that fucking weird?
It's not weird. It's tax evasion 101. Come on. We all know this game. Jesus Christ, New Orleans. What is going on here?
It's pretty funny. I mean, like, but it's so easy to do. It's like,
are the prices outrageous or are they like?
No, you get like these days I'm dialed in at like 10 milligrams is like where I want to be. I'll either do 5 or 10 and 10 is kind of where I want to be. And what was it? It's like a 10 pack of 10 milligram pieces for like $35-$40.
So like gummies?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't do any smoke.
Yeah. Do they sell smoke too?
Oh yeah. They sell flowers, like oils, lotions.
All of it. Lotion.
Yeah. I don't know how that works. This is like a weird Michelin 5-star restaurant. They rub it on your skin. Like, I don't know.
I wonder if it works.
I've never tried the lotion. I've never tried like the oils or the water soluble stuff or like, I don't know.
Yeah, as far as like weed goes, I've done the smoke, and then here, we serve it's actually hemp derivative, so it's not really weed that we serve here.
It's like Delta 9.
Delta 9, yeah. And then the Crescent 9 guys, they brought me some. What's up?
Oh yeah, Crescent 9.
Yeah, Crescent 9. They brought me some stuff the other day. It's they're like drops.
Yeah.
That you can add into drinks, and I know we can't serve them here yet because that's against the law.
It's unregulated.
Yeah. But we can serve their drinks.
Yeah.
But they just gave me that to like play around with.
Yeah. I saw the Crescent 9 guy not too long ago. He came into Brewstock and was like, oh, I'm just getting this for the brewery. I was like, what brewery? And he was like, oh, it's the Crescent 9. I was like, oh, cool, man.
What was he getting for them? Don't they brew somewhere else?
I think they were doing some kind of, I think he was getting like a coupler for like a keg. I think they were like doing batch kegging or something.
Oh,
like
okay.
I don't know what he was up to.
Was it Crescent or was it Louis?
No, it was Crescent.
Okay.
I know the Louis guy too.
I fucking love their product.
Yeah, I like Louis a lot more. And
Absolutely.
I found out why.
Why?
Crescent 9 has caffeine in it.
Yeah.
I can't do the up and down.
No, dude, it fucks me up big time. They have a new product though that doesn't have caffeine.
Yeah, he said he was doing like a ginger something with no caffeine.
Yeah, I'm scared of it though. Like I've tried their other one. Their other one just fucks me up big time.
Oh well. I don't consume caffeine.
Yeah, I consume a little bit, but not a lot. Like there's my tea over there, but it's mixed like half with water.
Yeah.
Because caffeine does me the same way. Like I'm just like,
yeah, no caffeine for me. I'm totally caffeine free.
That's good.
Yeah. I'm trying to get other people to get off caffeine, but it's your life, whatever.
Well, like all this stuff's bad for you. I mean, caffeine, sugar, alcohol, even weed. Like if you do too much of it, all this stuff's bad for you if you do too much of it. So it's in moderation for everything.
Yeah, and too much of it too. You're right. But I mean, there are some alcohols where like you can get away. Like you can make some like health conscious alcoholic drinks. Different if you have like enough antioxidants in there, and like any kind of fermented product is usually pretty good for you.
So mead.
Oh yeah, I mean if you're drinking like a bottle a day.
Yeah. I don't know if I could drink a bottle of my mead. I think maybe a glass of it.
Yeah.
And that's probably all I'd need for that.
It'll probably give you some good things inside the honey, depending on where you got your honey, as long as it's not like pasteurized honey or anything.
I don't know. I just bought honey.
Yeah. Just get some nice organic raw honey. I got a guy who gives me, I buy buckets of honey from him, 5-gallon buckets. And
that's a lot of honey.
Oh yeah. Well, I portion it out and sell it in smaller containers.
Yeah. Oh, you sell it there too at Brewstock?
Yeah, we sell the honey.
Cool.
We sell it's super raw and it's organic, and he gets it from.
Well, now I know where I'm getting my honey from next time.
Well, he gets it in New Orleans, so it's it's local honey.
Mm-hmm.
He predominantly said he's harvesting it off of Chinese tallow trees, which creates like that's another thing too. If you want to get into like the deep like parts of like different honeys, it's like a big deal. The Chinese tallow tree like produces like fairly dark amber, like really thick and sappy honey. And like there are different types of honey that will like come out completely crystal clear.
So he's not getting it from bees.
Oh, that's from bees.
Okay. They're just getting the
bees that have harvested Chinese tallow.
Okay. I was like, what is this guy talking about?
Yeah. It's tree sap.
Yeah.
No, it's honey. It's honey from bees that the bees have been mainly feeding on tallow trees.
Interesting.
But like when the bees feed on different types of plants, then you start to get different types of honey. And there's honey that's like black. There's honey that's like completely clear. There's different viscosities of it too.
What if they do the psychedelic honey?
Yeah, I've never tried that. That would be fun.
It's a good experiment.
That's the other thing too that people have like been chasing forever and no one has done it commercially or successfully is like everyone was like trying to mix THC and alcohol together. I'm like, what do you want to do tonight? Like,
yeah, that's a good point.
Like, what are you trying to do? You're trying to get drunk or are you trying to go like trip balls on LSD?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I might try the can you even get psychedelic honey? Is that
I don't know. Can I get it? No, I don't know.
That's like an Amazon thing, right? You can get it from like the Amazon. I think that's where they make it at, right?
They make it. Oh, in the Amazon.
Yeah. Like the
Bezos.
The bees there make the, yeah, not at Amazon. Well, you probably get it on Amazon for being honest.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where to get that. I don't have that dealer yet.
Oh, well, let me see what I can do. I'll bring you some whenever I get it made.
Some psychedelic honey.
Some psychedelic honey. Do you play with psychedelics?
No, I don't. I don't have any kind of like time or space to.
Yeah. You said you like THC. THC is technically a psychedelic when you eat it.
Yeah.
But if you take large doses of it, you said you had your dialed in for a low dose, really?
I mean, I take like for me, 10 milligrams is where I want to be.
Yeah, it's good. It's like the same thing as drinking 2 Lulus or 2 Crescent Canos. Yeah.
Yeah. And that just like, I'm good for the night, and I can do a number of different things. And
see, I can't, that's my problem with weed. Whenever I start drinking it, I can't do anything.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm just done.
That was kind of, I guess it was like how it started. Like people are like, oh, you don't get a hangover. It's like, yeah, I don't get a hangover, but I call it inertia, where it's like the next day I do like feel a little bit more relaxed the next day. Because I only just like typically eat it at night and then use it to sleep.
Same here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it for that reason right there. That reason alone. I will have to check into the card though, because I would like to try some of their products.
Yeah, I can send you a thing for it.
Yeah.
The 10 milligrams are the smallest one that they have. They're kind of limited in their selection.
That's all I would need. I think it's crazy that Crescent Canna has a 50 milligram can out there.
Yeah.
That's insane. I even know some buddies that they consume cannabis regularly, like every single day, a lot. And they said they drank a couple of those and.
Oh yeah, I'd be fucking. Yeah. I'd pass out.
No, that's insane. I don't even see how they get away with like, selling those.
I guess because it's Delta 9, right?
Well, they said that the way they get away with it, because I had the guy on the podcast a while back. He said they dose it out. They say this 50 milligram can is like 6 doses or something like that.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So you're not going to pick up a can and go, oh, well, let me just dose this out, shot at a time. Yeah, no, you're going to drink it.
Yeah.
So that's how they get away with it.
You just put a serving size on the label and you're good to go.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how they're doing it.
Here's the recommended serving. Eat 3 potato chips. Yeah. Are you serious?
Yeah, right.
Then why sell it in this big bag for me?
Dude, that's the world we live in, right?
That's America. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you get into like global politics and all? Because I know we don't like politicians, but like all this war shit going on and stuff, it's insane.
I don't get into global politics. It's just, I don't know.
Well, there's no point in it, right?
Well, like Americans, we can watch the media and that's our only perception of what's going on is what the left wing or the right wing tells us is going on. Like we're not in those countries. We haven't lived that life. It's not part of our culture. So why are we the ones making all these informed opinions?
Well said. Well said.
I don't know. It's just like I hear, a million people talking about Ukraine and Russia and a million more people are talking about Israel and Palestine. It's like, are you in Israel? Have you ever been to Israel? Have you ever lived in Israel? Have you ever been to Palestine? You ever lived in Gaza? Like, yeah,
that's my thing is I don't have a take on any of it. I just kind of like stand back. I'm like, my whole take on all of it is no one needs to die. Sure. I agree with that. I wonder what people in, small cities are like, like if you live in like Brussels or something or like Berlin, like whatever you see on the internet in your little news media about what America is, you're probably like, wow, if I go to America, I'm going to die. Yeah. They probably think we're nightmare. I mean, they probably think we're the worst. Oh, they probably think like, I'm going to go there and there's no wars and I'm still going to get shot and killed. Yeah. Right. School shootings and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. They probably think like, oh, look at all these fat people. Like, look at all these people with guns and like McDonald's in their hand. Well, I mean, the first thing you said is pretty true, though. What they think? No, the fat people. Oh, I mean, we have a pretty heavy culture these days. I mean, you and I aren't, but like there are a lot of people that are. I'm not that big. No, that's what I said. You and I are in pretty good shape, but there are a lot of people. Yeah. I'm from a very small town in Arkansas. Yeah. And everyone there is very large. And but they're happy. And I think why they're happy. They're happy because it's a very small community. Yeah. They all know each other. They all look out for each other. I think the issue is whenever we start getting to like big cities and like everyone's kind of like, I don't know who to trust. Yeah. I mean, you're talking. That's always, I mean, that's going to happen in November again. These people are going to be like, oh, land doesn't vote. It's like, okay. Okay. Oh, is that when the elections are? In this November? Yeah. Yeah. Dude, that's something I've never done. And I know people are like, you're the worst. You never voted. And I'm like, yeah. But it's also your right not to vote. That's a good point. Yeah. People want to talk about, this is an unpopular opinion. Here's my hot take. Yeah. I'm going to cut this out later. Got him. My hot take is that like, you absolutely have the right not to vote. And when people say, oh, you don't vote, your opinion doesn't matter. That is the essence of fascism. Somebody has an opinion that says, I don't like the system, and you take their opinion and belittle it. What does that remind you of? Yeah, that's true. Oh, sorry. It's good, dude. We can play footsies under there. Yeah. So, I mean, like, I don't know about the voting thing is like, I don't like the system. I don't like
who the politicians are. I don't like that there's a two-party system. And when you say, I don't like it, I'm not voting for it. Like, what would you prefer that I show up to the polls and click abstain on everything?
Right. Yeah. There's no point in it.
I don't know. Like, it's, I just don't like it. And that's what it is. And people are like, oh, you don't have an opinion then. If you're not allowed to have an opinion, that's called, that's called oppression, or at least what I learned when I grew up.
No, it makes perfect sense. I'm going to start using that whenever people say that to me. I think that there's a way to change the system. I don't know why we haven't done it yet. Really, it's pretty simple in my opinion.
Money and power.
Well, I think it's with the advent of blockchain. I think that we can build a system that sits on top of blockchain.
Yeah,
and
you do. Yeah, the banks would have to adopt it though.
I don't think they would, because
it needs to be backed by a government entity. If somebody steals your Bitcoin, steals your blockchain.
Well, I'm not talking about Bitcoin here. I'm talking about I'm talking about a system where we add a new party to our 3-party system, and it's a party for the people.
Yeah.
And this basically sits on top of Congress.
Oh, I thought you meant blockchain, like our currency.
Well, no, we're not going to use it for currency. We use it for, because blockchain's a multitude of things. Like if you use Ethereum, Ethereum has smart contracts on it. Smart contracts actually allow you to put an app on the blockchain.
But if I come in here and like break your kneecaps and force you to send your Ethereum to me, who do you call?
Well, it won't be, so you won't be able to do it on this system I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, that's a good point. Yeah. You
can't call the government and be like, well, it's not our money.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. You're not FDIC regulated on the blockchain.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about just a new system of government that sits on blockchain.
Interesting.
So there are apps that you can put on Ethereum that literally can't be touched once they're on there. There's only a few people that can get into the apps because of the way the blockchain operates.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is we put a system over Congress, and every time Congress goes to vote on something, it comes to your phone first, and you get a chance to vote on it. And we do it simple, like you swipe left to right, just like the dating apps. We all know what the dating apps are. So you swipe left to right for yes or no, and then that goes back to the politicians. They get to see how their constituents want them to vote.
Yeah.
And then we get a report card on the app that shows you if they voted with their constituents or against their constituents. That way you see which way the politicians are actually working.
And it keeps them accountable.
Holds them accountable, yeah. It's that simple. I think that's a very simple system that we could do. That way you actually know what the politicians are doing, because I don't even know who my politicians are or what they're doing, because that's how little I care about it.
Have you also ever read a bill?
I've read one of them, and it was 800 pages.
I was like, how long did it take you?
800 pages. Dude, it took me a week, and it was the worst time of my life. There was so many things hidden in the bill.
Yeah.
That were insane.
Yeah. That seems like sneaky. That seems wrong. Mm-hmm. Just on a morality basis. Like, I don't care what it's saying. Like, hey, we're going to slip something into this bill that says everyone's going to get $1 million. Like, wait a minute. How you did this is still like, we're going to slip a bill in here that says every person with brown hair, we're going to murder tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we need a chance to vote on both of those topics, whether they're good or bad. Like, we need a chance to have a voice about that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and the politicians aren't even reading that shit. Like, they're not.
They got staffers for that.
Right. And, they're probably skimming over it too.
That's probably a secret website within the government. Congress Cliff Notes or whatever.
Probably. I mean, it is. There's actually a website for that. I forgot what it's called. Something Eyes on Government or GovEyes, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a website for that where they do kind of go through the cliff notes, but they leave out some of the really important ones, because the only way I can see to condense those bills down is to use AI for this.
Yeah.
That's one of the good tools for AI, is it scans text very quickly and can pull out things that don't actually associate with the bill.
Yeah. I saw one cool thing about that AI is a very similar thing. There's like some drug that they need some compound for, and they had 1 million different candidates to see like which material was going to work for it. Mm-hmm. And they were like, well, this is going to take, 500 years to try each one of these things. AI figured out, like, narrowed it down to 30 in a matter of hours.
Dude, there are some good use cases for AI.
Yeah.
It's just also terrifying because there are also some very dangerous use cases.
Oh, yeah. And especially like in the music and art world, it's getting weird out there.
Yeah, dude. I feel like it's going to put, the quickness of it's what's crazy. Like, I have some friends that can create some amazing art.
Yeah.
But it takes them, a few days to create a piece, where AI can do that in 5 seconds.
Yeah. But I mean, you still got to go in and touch it and play with it and make sure it's,
I've written a couple of books with AI.
Yeah.
I haven't published from anything, but I was just going to see if I could.
Yeah.
And the only thing you have to do is you have to go to ChatGPT and say, write me an outline on this topic.
Yeah.
And then it writes you an outline of like, 5-6 chapters, whatever it is. And then you go to the next segment after it finishes that and say, write chapter 1. And it writes chapter 1.
So it just learns from itself.
Yeah. It basically looks at its chapter 1 and refers back to it and then writes the entire chapter for you. And you can read it and you have to like you said, go over it some and see what it's all about.
I think this is a movie.
What is it?
Terminator, iRobot, like
all the movies where the humans die.
Movies.
Yeah, it gets scary, man. But it's also cool. Yeah, I like new tools.
Yeah, toys are fun. I don't know. New stuff is fun. I don't know. I came from an art background, so it's like.
What did you do? Draw, paint, film?
Mostly
music?
graphic design.
Graphic design,
Computer art. I did a lot of drawing and painting and physical media when I was like up through high school, but then I don't know. I don't get into that. I do a lot of digital media and stuff like that. And
is that because you guys had a podcast for a bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what got you into that? Your art background?
No, actually, the guy I did the podcast with when we moved into the new Brewstock in 2020, the one on Broad, he was like, "Oh, it's a big enough space. We should do a podcast." And I was like, "Okay." So we just like literally started doing it. And yeah, it was like, we don't do anything like this. We have one microphone that sits in the middle of the table. We just have like my laptop camera filming us.
Yeah.
Like we don't have a board or anything. It's nothing fancy.
Well, I mean, you don't need all that stuff. This is just like bells and whistles, right?
Yeah. I see everyone doing all this cool stuff with the podcast. And then after like managing that podcast for a year or two or whatever it was, it's probably about 2 years. I just I can't.
It's a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot to do. I don't know how you do it.
I don't either. Yeah. I don't know how to do half the shit that I do. I don't have a life. That's how I do it.
Yeah.
I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have any friends.
That's the thing. It's like, that's what it really comes down to is like, I have a job that I work like 50 hours a week. I have a girlfriend at home and it's like,
yeah, it's a second job.
You got to set all this stuff up. You got to set up these microphones. You got to have a place to store them.
I got to edit everything.
Yeah. You got to do post-production on everything.
Upload everything.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But I mean, for me, it's fun because like I would have never got to sit in and have an hour-long conversation with you. Yeah. That's kind of the way I look at it. It's like a tool. Yeah. Where I can call, someone, if there's a professor at Tulane that I like his work, I'll call him up and say, "Hey man, I got a podcast. Would you like to come on it?"
And he'll come on.
He'll sit down and we'll talk for an hour and a half. Where if I was just like, "Hey man, do you mind if I drop by your office and have a conversation with you?"
Yeah.
No, I'm too busy.
Yeah, true.
So it gives me like a platform to talk to people that I never would be able to get in touch with.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. It's like Mitch, the Zony Mash guy.
Yeah.
He's been on here. We had a conversation. That's just been a ton of people, like all the Crescent Can, Louis.
Yeah.
Like just a lot of people that I have in the network now that I wouldn't have before.
Damn, they get the bus down this little street.
Yeah, bro. It's it gets pretty hairy during the daytime.
It's fun.
Yeah, we so that was one cool thing about a pothole we had out here for a long time. It was a massive pothole out there, and you're like, they're gonna fix this eventually. A month goes by, people are just bottoming their fucking cars on this pothole. And one day the bus is swerving to get around the pothole, hits a car.
Nice.
And I was like, it's gonna be fixed tomorrow.
Yep.
Literally, the next day it was out here fixed. Yeah.
That's what it takes, right?
That's what it takes, man. The city getting in trouble is what it takes.
Biggest retroactive city.
Crazy. I honestly, for that pothole out there, I went around to all these businesses around here. I was like, yo, I'm gonna collect $25 from each one of these guys. Go buy some cold asphalt from Home Depot and just come out here and fix it myself. Yeah, and I was going around asking these businesses, and a couple of them were like, "Yeah, we'll collect from you, or we'll donate $25 to you." And I went down to a couple more, and they were like, "Dude, you can't do that." I was like, "Why not?" And they said, "Well,
it's owned by the city."
Yeah, they said if something happens to it, then you're going to be liable for it. Yeah. So they said it's not a good idea to do that, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" So you can't even improve your own area.
I've seen some other projects too, like in Boston, was it, where they were drawing penises on all the potholes?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, if you don't want this vulgar vandalism out here, like, you fix it.
It's not a bad idea, actually. Maybe we'll start doing that. I think in New Orleans, people would laugh at that, though.
Oh, they would. It's just a little too vulgar, a little too naughty of a city.
It is a very naughty city.
I mean, Boston's a little Catholic, isn't it?
Yeah. So, yeah, in our city, that wouldn't work. There's got to be, I mean, I've seen some potholes where people just like put cones and things inside of them.
Oh, yeah. In our neighborhood, we've got something like that. Yeah. Yeah, we live in Broadmoor, and we've got some of that. We actually, one night, we've installed a cone to put in a pothole on our street.
Yeah. They need it. Well, cars are just going to hit those if they don't see the potholes.
I know. Yeah.
Anything else, Oliver?
I don't know. How long have we been doing this?
I don't know, man. You got to have something else in that brain.
I got a million things in my brain. You just gotta ask me the right question.
Let's see. What else do I have?
Oh, did I have any questions?
Well, I guess we could say where your location is so that people can come find you if they're interested in some mead. Do you ship online?
Yeah, we ship. Yeah, we're at 1300 South Broad in New Orleans, which is right next to Zony Mash. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we ship online. If you call me, or preferably if you email me and say, hey, I want these things, of course we'll send you back and if you just say what you want. I want this and I want it shipped to this location, and I'll come up with, I'll send you back a digital payable invoice through email. And it'll be like, hey, you received a new invoice from Brewstock Homebrew Supplies. All you do is click pay, and then I get an alert back on it, and then box it up and ship it out.
Dope. And do you have like kits put together that you can be like, okay, this is your kit for your mead?
We don't have any like pre-made kits,
but you can make a kit, right?
Yeah,
you have everything you need.
Yeah, we have everything to do it. Like if you said like, hey, it's my very first time and I want to do this, I would ask you some questions and be like, okay, do you want to make 1 gallon? Do you want to make 5 gallons? Like, what do you want to do here? And there's so many different options with mead too. It's like you can be very simple and just do just mix water, honey, and yeast, and you're done. You could like get a siphon and tubing. You can get some yeast nutrient, and get some Camden tablets, get some pectic enzyme for your fruits. Do a lot of different things depending on what you want to make. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, we'll just box it all up for you. Or if you want to come pick it up too and prepay for it, we can do that too. I
think that's what I did. I think I walked in there and was like, hey, I need these things.
Yeah.
And you were like, what are you planning on doing? And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's a full service shop. Yeah. A lot of people, most people know it's like you walk in and, I'm there. It's my job to help you.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like a bartender. Mm-hmm. It's like a weird, I try and I've said this a couple times where it's like service industry, and people are like, you're not in the service industry. I'm like, okay, I'm not, but like I am offering you a service.
It feels like the service. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're right. I'm not service industry because nobody gives me a tip.
Yeah.
But what I'm doing there is like, it's my job to help you. And like, I have the store laid out in a way where like, I know where everything is. Like, if you know where it is, great, you can grab it. Mm-hmm. But like, all you got to do is just ask me and I will help you. And then it will trigger like 5 more things too. It's like, oh, do you need this too? Do you also need this? Do you want this? Do you want this?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened the day I was in there. Yeah.
Well, it's like, I want to give you all the tools and all the options. Mm-hmm. Like if you don't want it, it's your homebrew. Mm-hmm.
What, like if you did just do yeast, sugar and water, like, and not the pectic enzyme and stuff, like what does that stuff all do?
What do you mean? Like
the pectic enzyme and the yeast nutrients and stuff? Does that just like help them grow faster?
They do very different things. Yeast nutrient is mainly just dead yeast cells. And there's a lot of other like nutrients and vitamins in it. The yeast nutrient I carry has diammonium phosphate in it, DAP, which is a really, really good nutrient for wine yeast. Mm-hmm. And different yeasts kind of want different nutrients and stuff like that. Depending on there's like a number of factors on that, but that's a deep rabbit hole. Yeast. The pectic enzyme is an actual enzyme, and what it does is it breaks down the skins of fruit. So you get a lot higher of a juice yield. One guy came in one time and said, hey, can you bottle my wine for me? And I said, no, like, of course not. It's homebrewing. You go do that. He was like, please, I don't have time. He gave me like a whole list of reasons. And I was like, okay, you buy the bottles, you buy the equipment, like the siphon and tubing, bottle filler, and you'll get to take that home with you when I'm done with it. Mm-hmm. And then you buy like an hour of my time too. And he was like, that's fine. I don't have time to do this. Can you just do it for me? Okay.
Man, if he was that, you should have been like, it's going to cost you $1,000.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, he came in and he gave me 2 buckets of his wine. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll have
2 5-gallon buckets.
Yeah. 2 5-gallon buckets. Mm-hmm. I was like, cool. So I sold him 4 cases of wine bottles thinking, this is what I'll get out of it. After siphoning, half the bucket, I found out that the bottom half was literally just swollen muscadines.
Oh.
I was like, okay, well, if you would use pectic enzyme, you would have probably gotten 4 to 5 gallons out of this instead of 2.5 gallons.
Right.
And I was like, here's your 2 cases. It could have been 4 cases, but so pectic enzyme is important. It's a great tool to use.
Interesting. That's probably why my, Because my first batch of apple cider that I made, I put the pectic enzyme in, but I didn't like mush the fruit.
Yeah.
And then they were still broken down whenever it was over with.
Yeah, the pectic enzyme will eat it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it'll eat it. And it will just, it's like, I don't want to say maceration, but like it kind of is. You know, it just like completely dissolves it into mush.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great tool. Pectic enzyme is always good for winemaking. I know a lot of people who are like, I'm not adding anything except for the yeast into my wine. It's like, okay, do it that way. That's fine. What
about like a butter mead? My friend was wanting a butter mead. You ever heard of this?
I have not heard of this.
Okay. And it could be butterscotch mead. I don't really know. But he said butter mead. He said it was something they used to make in Skyrim, play the video game Skyrim.
Oh, okay.
And butter mead was like, he's like, you need to try to make that. So I'm thinking like a butterscotch mead. So it's like take butterscotch candies and like crush them up as the sugar.
But not real butter.
No, I wouldn't think real butter would.
Because real butter would create some nasty. In beer, we're always trying to avoid butter, which comes from diacetyl. Diacetyl is a compound used. I'm pretty sure they use it in movie theater popcorn butter, like to make it butter flavored.
Ugh.
Like diacetyl is intense butter flavor and like has a slickness to it. It's like oily.
Yeah.
I don't know. In my opinion,
I bet it's butterscotch.
It feels like a game developer made that thing and was like, hey, what if it was butter mead? Because Harry Potter has butter beer.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Skyrim. I'll see if there's a recipe online for it. What about video games? Do you play video games?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What do you play?
I am back deep into the Nintendo world.
Interesting.
That's what I started on. First console was a NES. I've always been a Nintendo guy. I've drifted over the years. But now I'm back. I just have a Switch.
What do you play?
I play mostly all the Mario stuff. And these days, me and we play a lot of Switch sports. That is a good time.
Is that like...
it's like Wii Sports.
Wii Sports, yeah.
It's pretty much the same thing, but on Switch.
Yeah, what happened to the Wii? Did it just die off?
Yeah.
They made it the Switch?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing with the controls and stuff.
Yeah, Switch is cool because it can be handheld, like a portable little handheld system. It can be a big system. It can be hands free. It can be hands apart. It can be hands together.
Very interesting gaming console. That's one I don't have that one.
Switch right here.
Yeah, I don't know whose that is. I can't believe someone just leaves it in here. Their Switch charging port. Because it's not the actual Switch.
Yeah, it's not the actual Switch. It's just the dock.
Yeah, I think it's pretty insane people just leave shit laying around here like that.
Switch is fun. I'm all about video games that I can sit down and have a good time. See a lot of people bragging about like Skyrim and like Red Dead and like Baldur's Gate or something.
Baldur's Gate, yeah.
I'm like, that's a little too much for me.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate, it was fun, but because I played it this past one that came out. It's cool that you can get your friends in. So it's like D&D,
yeah,
but your buddies are there.
Yeah. So
it's kind of fun, but it's kind of slow too.
Yeah, that's the thing is one of the things I love about Nintendo is you turn it on and you're already playing. Like if I got a PlayStation, it's like, okay, boot up the console. Okay, wait 2 minutes. Okay, select a game, wait another minute for it to load. Okay, click load in, wait another minute for it to load in. Here's another loading screen.
Yeah.
Okay, wait for this. Okay, now I'm in here. Okay, check all my quests. Check all my inventory. Like, where am I? Am I good? Like, what did I do last time? When was the last time I even played? Yeah. It's like, no, you open up a Mario game and you're like, you hit start and you're running around.
One of my favorite games ever was Super Mario RPG.
Oh, yeah. They just re-released that.
Dude, I freaking loved that game.
Yeah. RPGs are not exactly my thing.
That was just my first go around with one.
Yeah. Knights of the Old Republic is like the only RPG I've ever really gotten into when I was into Star Wars, but that's over.
You don't like Star Wars anymore?
No, it's fucking ruined.
Oh, what ruined it for you?
The mouse.
Mouse.
Mickey Mouse.
You lost me.
Disney.
Oh, the fact that Disney took over. Okay. Yeah. Some of the stuff there, the 3 new movies, I hated those.
It's trash.
Yeah. Trash movies.
Trash.
I do love like the cartoons, like the,
Clone Wars.
And I love, how they followed Ahsoka and stuff like that.
See, I've always been told those were great storylines and I tried to watch a lot of those and I never could finish any of that. But at least with those, it's like some things are like some genres deserve continuity and some genres like you should not worry about continuity. Like comedy genres, like if you're worried about continuity in like your favorite sitcom, it's like you're focused on the wrong thing.
Right.
Like, but in Star Wars, like it's all about continuity. It's all about the universe.
Yeah.
Like it's all about this one cohesive thing. And Disney came in and was like, well, what if we did all these things? And what if we just said, fuck you to everything in the past? It's
Cash grab.
Yeah, it is a cash grab. But now like it could have been, if you're smart about it, like you could have rolled this out for the next 50 years. They're just jamming it. Like, look at Marvel. Look what they did. It's like jam it down your throat as fast as you can. Get the cash grab now. You could have waited, like you could have rolled out Marvel movies over the next like 20 years.
Yeah.
And made infinitely more money doing it.
I agree. Yeah.
With like well thought out stories.
Yeah, but you can't tell these people that. They just want to make as much content as they can to try to get as much money as they can.
As fast as possible is the issue. Is like,
and they end up ruining the whole genre for everyone.
Yeah, they ruined it for me.
Yeah, I think they're still coming out with crap too.
I know Star Wars is still going. They still do stuff, and it's just like it's the same thing with like I like put a strict like snip the cord on Game of Thrones after that whole fiasco.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched the new one.
I haven't watched anything, and I like unsubscribed from all of anything that I could see Game of Thrones in my life. Like after the final season, I just like cut it out of my life. Like I went cold turkey on it so hard.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter how many prequels you make, you know, it just leads up to trash.
Right. Yeah. I canceled all of my streaming site, except for Netflix. Still have Netflix, but I canceled all the rest of them. I think I need to cancel Netflix too. There's really nothing on there I want to watch.
And there's nothing that you can't find on the 7 Seas these days.
True that.
That's kind of where I'm at. It's like watch a lot of movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
Alternatively.
Yeah. You can get anything you want to really out there.
Yeah. I watch a lot of stuff too, especially at Brewstock. I watch a lot of movies, and it's bad too because I don't even remember half the movies I watch because I've seen so many fucking movies these days, and I watch so many bad movies too that there will be like once in a while I'll get stuck on a movie and be like, this one was fantastic, and then I'll watch it like 3 times.
What's your favorite movie? Do you have a favorite?
I don't think I have a favorite. I think the last movie that really got me, that like I really like watched so many times in a row, I just fell in love with The French Dispatch. Wes Anderson.
Haven't seen it.
If you like Wes Anderson, a lot of people I've known have watched French Dispatch and they're like, that was the most boring thing I've ever seen. I'm like, no, that movie was the definition of what art is. Like everything about it. The dialogue is quippy. It's like everything is framed correctly. It like has a food aspect to it.
It's definitely a Wes Anderson thing.
Yeah. And it's the colors are beautiful and it's just so funny. And it's so, I don't know. I'm into that kind of thing.
The level of detail some of those guys go into when they're making movies is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even understand how their brains work that way.
That's kind of what I'm into. I'm either into that kind of thing or a movie where I can just like a good rom-com from 2010, you know, like that's prime era.
It was. Yeah. That area, the early 2000s for music. I mean, something was some magic was in that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite movie of all time is probably Fury.
Oh yeah.
The Brad Pitt tank movie.
Yeah.
Something about that movie just does it for me.
Yeah.
His acting in the movie is awesome too. Like there's one part where they're at the kitchen table and the woman makes the eggs for him and the young boy.
Yeah.
And then the other tank members come into the house and they're like just being obnoxious and just him holding his composure for as long as he did. And then finally yelling at the guys to like leave the room.
Yeah.
I was like, for something about that just like was real because it's like, he can't tell them to stop doing what they're doing because they'll think he's being nice to the enemy. Yeah. So he has to wait until like that moment. It's like, I don't know, something about the grittiness of it. And they all died in the end. Yeah. Kind of reminds me too of, spoiler, Inglourious Bastards. It's kind of like that. Or it's just, everything is just, sitting on the tip of a knife. Yeah. Like, okay, when is this volatile situation about to, and Tarantino will just draw it out, draw it out. And yeah, I love that kind of stuff, man. Well, Oliver, thank you for coming in today, man. Thanks for having me. That's cool. You have the website people can get on. Yeah. Order their kits, order whatever they need to. Yeah. We're also in the city of New Orleans. So if you're around here, come through and grab some supplies and go home and make you some mead. Yeah. Make some mead. Come check out events. Go to homebrewing events. Last night was Crescent City Homebrewers Club.
They did their Winterfest last night. We have homebrewing events throughout the year. On the North Shore and Larry Fest is going to happen in June. We're going to do our homebrew festival probably in September again out at UNO. We work with a number of charities for that.
What happens in those events? Like, can I bring my brew out there and be like, here, try some of this? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, you can. You want to make sure with the organizer that they have the proper permit, because when I apply for permits for mine, it's a homebrew festival with homebrewed beer. So the permit I apply for with the parish says something like beer only and low ABV contents. They don't come out and like check, but they could.
Right.
So somebody asked this past Brewstock Fest, if they were like, can we, hey, Brewstock Fest.
Like that.
They asked if they could bring out their meads to their booth. And I was like, yes, no, like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. The ATC could come out and fuck you up, but I don't know.
Right. So do you have social medias and stuff people can follow you on?
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram, Brewstock NOLA. And
you guys post all the homebrew events?
Yeah, we post homebrew events. I'm trying to be better about that now. We've added a page to our website with all the homebrew events that are going on, especially in New Orleans and like, North Shore, Baton Rouge, around the local area in Louisiana and stuff like that. Cause we're always trying to give people an opportunity. My idea is like, it's my job to give you a platform, like whether it's my event or not. Like last night was not my event, but like it's an event that is serving homebrew to the public. Like, yeah, it's my job to tell you about that. Yeah. It's my job to let you know, like, hey, do you want to brew for this? You can. Or, hey, do you want to buy tickets to this? Like, you should. You should go out and hang out, on OZ when they do the live wire. They're like, go out and support some live local music. Like, get out there and support some live local homebrew.
I like it. I'm into it. I'm going to go there and serve my brew sometime.
Yeah. Come out to Brewstock Fest and set up a booth. And there's no entry fee for homebrewers.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming in today, Oliver.
Thanks for having me.